The by-election race in Alberta's Battle River-Crowfoot is kicking into high gear this week. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre joined 9 other candidates on stage last night for debate.
I absolutely 100% agree. If you want to run for an area, you need to live here.
I'm Darcy Spady. I'm from Three Hills, and I don't want to be Prime Minister.
You know, my mission here is to give national leadership to the issues that are of local importance.
Electoral reform is exactly what the longest ballot wanted. So the fact that everybody here is talking about electoral reform means that their form of protest is in fact working.
It's just a handful of the candidates because the final list for the by-election has a record total of 214 people in the race. The second time the Longest Ballot Initiative, an activist group, has run candidates against the Conservative leader. Shauna Feth is president and CEO of the Alberta Chamber of Commerce, and she moderated last night's debate. Shauna, how are you?
I'm excellent, thank you.
What was your big takeaway from the debate?
So for me, I mean, going in, there's a little bit of apprehension just around the debate itself in terms of, there was rumors of busloads of individuals and that type of thing coming in. And so none of that came to fruition, which was very positive. And it was from my perspective, an incredibly respectful debate. I mean, the candidates all were able to state their priorities and share their platforms out in a really respectful way. I mean, obviously, they don't all agree on the same things, but it was done in such a way that, they were able to communicate that vision they had for the constituency, without a lot of additional noise or a lot of additional, I guess, heckling or any of that type of thing coming from the audience, which was incredibly positive.
Yeah, and it particularly significant because we live in such politically polarizing times that you say there was the worry of that. It says something that there were these candidates from across the political spectrum, that you were prepared for polarization, but it just didn't happen.
No, and I think, again, once you get into, it is a forum, it's not a debate. So in the format itself, obviously, there's a lot of control over how things go back and forth. And it's very controlled in terms of how much time each candidate gets. And it's very structured that way. And I think that structure had a lot to do too with the ability to kind of really ensure that we were able to spotlight the candidates that were on stage and give them, genuine opportunity to talk about their positioning and their platforms in a way that, like I said, was, not fraught with a whole bunch of outside or external noise.
This is a by-election. To be frank, the national spotlight does not tend to shine on by-elections anywhere in the country, and this one has a spotlight because the Conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre, is running in it. As much as the national spotlight may look at his performance and the likelihood of him winning, there are real issues in the community, a lot of them. What are the neighbors there talking about?
Well, I think, so first and foremost, it's a massive constituency geographically. I would just make that note that it's incredibly large, and it encompasses all types of individuals, all types of industries, all types of businesses, all types of main streets. And I think, to say that there's, one attitude or there's one sense of direction around how this is going to go would be remiss of me. But I think, again, individuals will make their decisions based on the information that they're given. And just like any other constituents, the ones in Crowfoot are very savvy about finding out what they need to know about the candidates before they head to the polls. And so I'm very, I'm optimistic that the democratic process is going to work well in our region, just because I know so many of the individuals that live in it. And like I said, so respectful of all the different individuals and different industries and businesses that reside in this very large area of Alberta.
Most of the candidates who will be on the ballot do not live in the riding. And Pierre Poilievre, who stands the best chance of winning, is among them. He was parachuted into that race. How did that play out in the discussion last night? Did it put him on the defensive?
Well, I don't really want to comment one way or another. I mean, we're a nonpartisan organization that I would not want to make a comment that would put one candidate over another. The question did come up and was answered. And so, anybody who's wanting to take a look at the actual responses from the candidates is able to do that online by watching the debate.
What did it mean for the discussion that you have so many candidates who are running because of this longest ballot initiative? What did it mean for the discussion that you have 10 people on stage? It doesn't turn into a one-on-one scenario, which is perhaps easier for people who are going to vote to understand a binary choice. What does it mean when you have 10 people there?
Well, I mean, it's a large forum for sure to moderate. That's a lot of candidates. Normally, you wouldn't have that many on stage at any given forum for, doesn't matter if it's municipal, provincial, or federal. I think that, the way I have to give a shout out to the Camrose and District Chamber of Commerce who organized the event, that they were very transparent in how the candidates were chosen. It definitely was, invitations went out and it was a first come, first serve response situation. And so I think it was, very transparent and very clear in terms of who actually made it onto the stage out of the candidates, for sure.
Shauna, thank you so much for your time and telling us about last night.
Yeah, my pleasure.
That is Shauna Feth, who is the president and CEO of the Alberta Chamber of Commerce.